Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's WinterhelmGames and we're back with another Warcraft reaction. It's the final cinematics from the 9.2.5 Eternity's End. Mainly, like I've seen the one, I think the Jailers one is involved in this, so I can also get past it because I've seen that one. It's mainly about the final judgment from Sylvanas that I haven't seen and all the bits and pieces surrounding that. So we'll have a look at that. I wanted to get all this done first before we had any of the announcements for the new expansion, although there is leaks. We don't know how credible they are, but they certainly look credible. I can discuss that at the end for a little bit, but right now let's get into it. So like and subscribe if you like the content. Let's get into it.
Of souls into the Maw has ended. The Covenants and the Shadowlands have been restored. Only one task remains. Sylvanas Windrunner.
I also know that Pelagos, there was a small cutscene that showed him being made the new Arbiter. I suppose it was, it was expected, obviously. I'm not sure if it was expected for Pelagos to be the new Arbiter, but certainly for a new Arbiter to be chosen and to get everything back to some form of normality, I suppose, for the afterlife, for the Shadowlands.
The time for your judgment is at hand. There can be no true justice without compassion. And I can see your deeds bear the mark of the Jailer's influence. An influence we failed to contain.
The Jailer did not control me. My actions were mine alone, and I accept their consequences.
Then, you know in your heart to whom you must answer.
I submit to the judgment of Tyrande Whisperwind.
Yeah.
Entrusting justice to your most fervent adversary. Are there any gathered here who object to this fate?
I wouldn't think so.
So be it.
What game do you play now, Banshee? The Sylvanas I hunted would never submit to the blade of her enemy.
Death would be a merciful end, Tyrande. And I do not expect your mercy.
Your newfound remorse might be genuine, but it can never erase all you have done. There will be no peace for you, Windrunner, until there is peace for the souls of your victims. The prisoner is in my charge now. Bring her!
True justice brings both punishment and renewal. I trust in Tyrande to achieve both.
And now, after so long, there is much we need to say to one another.
I know, sisters. But judgment comes.
Below lies the Maw, an unjust fate to which you doomed so many. And it will be there that your penance begins.
It is apt though. I mean, it's quite fitting that it is Sylvanas, it is Tyrande that does this, because we know that in terms of lore anyway, in terms of role-playing things like that, characters wouldn't know what was going on here. They wouldn't know anything about the Shadowlands, or that anyone they lost in recent years would have been sent straight to the Maw and not to their places of rest in the afterlife where they would have went, whether it was Bastion or Ardenweald or whatever. So it's quite fitting that once all the souls are being given their proper place of rest, that apart from all the other drained souls that should remain in the Maw, the only one there mainly would be Sylvanas. That's quite apt.
every soul lost in its depths, betrayed or condemned, you shall find and send forth to the Arbiter, to be judged with the compassion all souls deserve. You will toil there, under Dorotha's watchful eye, scouring every darkened reach, until the final soul is free, and you are all that remains. This is how you shall bring renewal to your victims and my people.
However long it takes, it shall be done.
Undo Falador, old friend. Watch her well.
Back into the mall. I had a quick phone call in the middle of that.
Banshee's penance will save countless lost souls. A fate that would not have come to pass had I slain her in Ardenweald. Perhaps that is why Mother Moon stayed my hand. I thank you for your aid. Soon I must return to Azeroth to begin healing the Kaldori and preserving our future.
Yeah.
So long there had been little more than hatred and malice in our sister's eyes. To at last see a glimmer of the Sylvanas we knew. I had ceased hoping for such a thing. I am pleased we had a chance to speak with her, Verisa. I only wish we'd had more time. As do I. But if she stays true to her word and sees this obligation through, perhaps one day we will.
Well,
It will never be like it was before. The pain she inflicted upon the Kaldori, upon the world. How could she ever answer for it? I'm not certain she can.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
But if her penance brings any measure of peace to those she wronged, at least it is a start. You are right, Lady Sun. Our family has endured so much darkness. We must find a way to cling to hope. Yes, Little Moon. Mother. Father. Lyrith. They are only memories. We thought our sister was as well. But now, we shall see.
Well met, King Greymane.
Regent Lord.
I hope the fate of Sylvanas Windrunner brings the Alliance some measure of peace.
Peace. You stand in the Shadowlands, Regent Lord. Ask the dead she sent here whether they feel peace. As for me, that's something I will never know. Not while the monster who killed my son still endures.
I understand. My people are haunted by the deeds of monsters as well.
And what of you? Are you hoping that the Ranger General you served comes back from the Maw, or would you prefer having your war chief again?
I spent most of my life alongside the Windrunner family. Sylvanas was my hero, and my friend. But the Banshee who nearly led the Horde to ruin was neither.
Then you shouldn't have followed her commands.
Exactly.
Good day, Regent Lord.
Good day.
See, I mean, they've no one to blame but themselves for actually following everything she said during the Shadowlands, so, and before that. So they've no one to blame but themselves.
King Greymane.
I can't tell you how relieved I am to see you safe, my king. Even after reading Jaina's reports, I can scarcely imagine the horrors you endured.
There were times I thought I would never escape the jailer's control. The things he made me do.
Those actions were not your fault. You cannot blame yourself.
I should have been stronger.
And when Rin, You are the strongest man I know. And when you return to Stormwind, the whole kingdom will tell you the same.
I can't go back, Ken. Not yet.
But the people need...
Turallion will keep the Alliance safe in my absence. And I know you watch over everyone we care about. Old Wolf.
Of course. Take whatever time you need. And when you're ready, please, come home.
Hopefully he does. Maybe I can understand. I can understand he will need time to reflect on everything that's happened, but hopefully he wouldn't deny his throne, you know, in terms of his own what's the word, the family line, I suppose. You know, hopefully he would just say, I'm not coming back ever again. But hopefully he wouldn't say that. I imagine it's just he did need to take time before he could go back, and that's fair enough. So I wonder where he would be in the meantime. Yeah.
Wait us here, among these countless afterlives. Is there anyone you would seek out, Bane? For one last conversation before you return to the land of the living?
No need to spare my feelings, Lorthamar. You are asking if I wish to find my father. The truth is, I do not need to. His spirit is always with me, wherever I go, whatever I do, guiding me just as his ancestors guided him. And what of you? Is there someone you would visit, given this chance?
Prince Kael'thas. Long have I held the title of Regent Lord, all the while wondering if I was truly suited to lead my people. I would ask the last liege of Silvermoon if he regrets the choices he made. A chance to mend old wounds.
That's an interesting
and
perspective.
Perhaps feel that the torch has truly been passed.
A feeling I understand all too well. I pray your conversation brings you the peace you seek, my friend.
A mortal life is so incredibly brief. I questioned whether any actions taken within that span of time could truly be worthy of eternal torment.
I confess that as an aspirant, I did not think of such things, only of duty. It was not until I witnessed Uther's plight that I recognized the injustice of the Maw.
Never again will a mortal soul be sent to its depths. All deserve a chance at redemption. Recent events have shown us that a single mortal soul, in fact, every mortal soul, can alter the course of eternity.
Indeed.
Yeah.
For good or for ill. In the end, it was mortals and their decisions that shaped the fate of the Shadowlands.
As Arbiter, I will take that lesson to heart. Every soul will be treated with compassion and will be given a voice in which afterlife awaits them.
You have betrayed your duty as Arbiter and shall be bound forevermore.
That was that part I'd seen, just with Drailer's fall. So, I think that pretty much finishes it off, but yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I like this conversation they were having there, but it's good. That means that they are willing to give everyone a second chance, everyone who's ever been in the Maw, even before everything that happened, probably. They'll all get a second chance at redemption, which is good. Which means that if it does go the way that they're planning, that Sylvanas would be the only soul left in the Maw. But whether we will see her or much of the Shadowlands or the characters, Covenant leaders, the Arbiter, whether we'll see them in the next expansion or not, or touch on them in the next couple of expansions, who knows? It just depends. What do you think would happen, or what would you like to see happen in the coming expansions? And with that, we have the leak. And the leak is about Dragonflight. So this is what we've seen. Let me see if I can change it there. This was something that was put up, among other things, that was seen from Warcraft's own website, and then everyone started to post it and things like that. So I don't know. I really don't think a dragon expansion is the way to go to actually bring people back to the game. I honestly don't think that'll be the way forward, but what they said, one of the main things could be that everything will be in 10 plus as max level content, which means that there will not be any leveling boosts, there will not be any leveling cap, any increased level. It'll stay at 60. So there is no need to level if you've already got max level characters. Progression is just end game progression. Now, from what I think Belial said when he was touching on this, was that that's probably not a bad thing, to be fair, having no level, because in other games it's the same. Whereas like with Guild Wars, I think he said, it's the same where there's no level. And the last couple of expansions, it's just been, they've had like a different system in place where you're leveling up your skill set and things like that, which is good. That the experience you're gaining is going towards the different skills and different mastery that you have, which is something that they could very well hint on in the coming expansion or two, if that's the route they want to go down, which isn't bad, because I mean, we went from 1 right up to 120 before it was all scaled back, before Shadowlands, back down to 60, because they were given the levels just for the sake of levels. There's a new expansion out. We'll put on 10 levels that people have to progress through and all the rest of it, and do this bit of the storyline as they're doing it. But the level itself isn't necessary in order to go through the end game progression, of the progression of the story. It shouldn't be an issue. It shouldn't be needed. So that's one good thing I think will come out of it, is the fact that there'll be no level squish, and there'll be no need for progressing forward to like level 70 or 80 or 90 again. That's good. So Dragon Isles technically is its own continent, though another continent that no one ever knew about or existed, that no shaper ever came across. It is just one zone split into multiple maps, floating islands between the Broken Isles and Northrend. So there again, anytime we went to Northrend, or anytime we sailed there, no one's ever seen anything. Same as the Pandaren Isles, with the everything that happened with that new area. It just appeared out of nowhere, but it's what happens, I suppose. So there was questions about Lordaeron as well, whether it would just be a revamped area, that Brill is back in place. So I don't know whether they'll progress that for the Alliance, if they'll try to retake the North in any way, shape or form. I think from most people I've spoken to in the game, role players and otherwise, would like to see the North be reclaimed in some way, or progression to happen. I know we've had like Stromgarde back, and that has that area where it can be Horde or Alliance controlled at times, but it was still a step in the right direction, I think. So to see the North come back under Alliance control, or at least to get, I think would be a better way forward. I think for the Horde side of things, I've never really been on Horde too much, but I think like Silvermoon, things like that, need a dramatic update. So if things were to step in that direction as well, I think that would be a welcome change for likes of Ghostlands and Eversong. That they do say that there is a revamped Eversong and Ghostlands. Silvermoon is a hostile city like Suramar, but I think they need to dramatically change a few zones and build them up, and the look. Though if they take all that into consideration, it mightn't be a bad expansion, but based about dragons, I don't know. I honestly don't know myself if that'll going to be a good thing or a bad thing. Let me know what you think. If you're a role player, or if you're just a player that goes through it just for the raids, or just for the storyline, whatever it is you're playing the game for, let me know. Let me know what you think this will be like, if it's all true. So there's Dragon Knight, only one tank spec. They're wondering whether every expansion we've always had new races come out. So will they do the same? Another aspect is, would they have a Tinker class? If they do, I think many warriors many gnome warriors would automatically go, yep. And I would be one of them, to be fair. I have a gnome warrior. So I would automatically roll a Tinker class if there was, because she is a Tinker, she's engineer and all the rest of it. That would be very good. So I think it's things like this. It's also another thing where I think they could redo Gnomeregan to actually have a better place for gnomes to call an actual city and not what they currently have. There's a lot of things like that I think would be more beneficial to go over, which haven't been touched in a long while, and trying to better what they currently have and then talk about moving forward. So I can only hope there'll be some good changes for things like that coming up, because it's needed. It is needed. And the graphics in general of the game, I think, could be bettered. But yeah, again, we will see. Many people I've spoken to in the game already, once this has came out, this leak, even beforehand, there's been many YouTubers like Betty and all talking about the possibility of a Dragon expansion or Dragon Isles, or I just don't think that's the best way forward. And many people have agreed, thinking that if this is true, they'll likely just quit. They'll not subscribe anymore. I hope not. I hope they'll at least give it a go, which I imagine some of them at least will give it a go to see what else is being changed and what's being addressed. But yeah, I'm not too sure about it. Dalaran has been another one where they're talking about having it as a main city or capital city, so there will be updates to be happening around there. Carpenter and Logger Perfections, player housing is another thing that most people were talking about for a long while. So whether they do that in main cities or not, which again would be good for likes of roleplay as well, from that aspect. Player housing, I think, would be something that's always been after in the last few expansions anyway. So you're getting dragon skin for shamans, warden skin for demon hunters, draconic spells and their forms and effects. Uses arcane, holy magic instead of fel. Continued order hall stories, which is fair enough. Through a select few. Yeah, you pick your covenants. Yeah. So I don't know. I guess we'll find out. This expansion was normally would have been announced around, what was it, February? They say February 20th, but it would have been around the same time where we would have had the, I suppose, online BlizzCon rather than the actual physical one, because of everything that's happened with the pandemic. So I guess we'll find out. So we're not that far away from the release date now. From the announcement date, sorry, should I say, rather than a release date. But we will find out soon enough whether this is all true or not. There has been artwork apparently that was posted up around the same time, which shows dragons and the logo for Dragonflight. So I guess we will see. So in the meantime, thanks for watching, guys. Let us know what you think will happen and what you would like to see. Things like that I was talking about, like Gnomeregan and different things, Tinker Class, Dragon Knight. Different things that will come out of this expansion. What would you like to see as part of it in terms of how they could upgrade or fix what is currently in the game, rather than moving forward too far and continue to have these issues? What would be the best thing that will help bring people back? Now, they did say that, I think a few people have said that likes of this here would be something that's unique, something that's different. It's different from what they've always usually done. But then it was the same for one of the expansions that was slightly different. You had when the whole Legion thing, when that came up, that was different. That was certainly different from the Horde versus Alliance constant. That was always there from like Warcraft 1 and 2. That was different, and that worked well, and that did succeed in getting people back to the game. But when they continued on the story, it seemed to drop a bit. And then when you got towards Shadowlands, from from the, what was it, yeah, it just fell apart. I mean, the storyline started to go downhill. We all know why, with everything that was happening with the behind the scenes of Blizzard, and then the whole court case and everything that's coming up because of it. We know why things were going downhill, and the people who were in charge weren't doing much about it at all. But anyway, we can only hope that things will move forward for the better. Coming from a player point of view, it's a wee change like this I would like to see happen to better the experience for the current role players, for the current players, and also for people who are there to do the raid content and the expansion itself, the progression. So hopefully they will address those issues going forward. So for now anyway, we'll leave it there. That concludes everything with Eternity's End and Shadowlands. So what would you rank Shadowlands in terms of the previous expansions? Would it have been your best one, your worst one? What would have been the worst expansion out of all of them for you to date, and why? Let me know in the comments, and we'll see you next time. Take care, guys. Bye.